Hey guys, welcome back to Streamforge Radio. I'm Meredith, your co-host, and we have on with us, as always, Xavier, one of the founders of Streamforge.
Hey guys.
Who's our lovely host. And today's guest, we have Matt Oblivium, who is joining us for a special New Year's episode. So welcome, Matt.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Yeah.
Welcome, man. And so before we get started, could you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Well, I'm Matt Oblivium. I play all sorts of variety, but honestly often get stuck on like a single game, like, oh, this card game I'm like super into, or oh, this auto battler. And then, okay, we're done again. Let's go buy all of the indie games again and just see what's there. And just have a good time all around.
So we're going to be talking about, like, we've almost done with the year 2021. It was still a pretty crazy year. I would say not as crazy as 2020. On a personal level, how was 2021 for you?
To be honest, I go outside so little that 2020 and 2021 were like practically normal to me. However, like the internet was obviously crazy.
Yeah.
Though I did have like, this year was definitely worse for me than last year, because at one point my back was just like, I'm just gonna stop existing. I could only lie down for a month, so that was not great.
Yeah.
Still recovering from that, but otherwise, it's all been normal.
Now let's look back at some of the games that have been released this year that maybe helped us enjoy the year even more. I know for on a personal level, again, like, I've had some great experiences. I made a little list here. I made sure to pick games that released this year, because I have a backlog that just, endless backlog of games that I need to play that released, 30 years from now, or maybe 2 years or 3 years, it doesn't matter. But I played quite a few games that released this year and made a list, and I think you made one as well.
Yeah. Made sure it was all games from this year, because otherwise it's a little cheating.
Yeah.
Because I actually, like, I noticed, like, wait, most of my games were from last year?
Yeah. It goes fast, and nowadays, like, games, they release early access versions, right? And so, like, the early access version releases, now a year goes, and then it officially launches. I know a lot of our clients and a lot of publishers we work with, like, they do that. So, like, it can be confusing sometimes to remember when a game was actually first launched. And with this generation as well of consoles, it's the same thing. I was looking at a list because I wanted to, like, have a refresher to remember which games were actually released this year, and I saw a lot of games like, releasing in 2021, but for PS5 and Xbox X, Series X and S, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but it was released the year before or 2 years before on the previous generation, so it can be very confusing.
Yeah, I had that same problem.
Do you want to start with your list?
Yeah, sure. It's
Cool.
I made a little top 5, and let's start at 5 then. I put Darkest Dungeon 2 as my 5.
Okay.
Because, like, sure, it's early access, so it technically doesn't count, but it also did only release, like, a month and a half ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, I started my stream on Darkest Dungeon. Like, that's where I got my partnership and everything. So Darkest Dungeon is kind of like something I did really look forward to. However, I only put it on number 5 because they kind of do have a little bit of a way to go. But I can't believe how good they translated the art from the 2D Darkest Dungeon to and then make it that 3D, and the animations are so good. I can't believe what magic they used. Knowing Darkest Dungeon, very dark magics probably, but
but it's the reception of Darkest Dungeon 2 was
like the actual gameplay is a little awkward. Like in Darkest Dungeon 1, you would have a team, you send them in a dungeon. Okay, you're done with the dungeon, you have a new team. So even though the dungeons themselves could last a little while, you would more often change up the way you were playing. But in Darkest Dungeon 2, it's just you pick your team and you go through the entire chapter, like an entire run of Slay the Spire with the same 4 characters with, well, probably the same abilities you chose at the very beginning of the run, because that's how you build your team. And that does get a lot more stale, and That is definitely something that needs to be worked on. Also, the new relationship system, like instead of virtues and such, it's a cool idea, but they've had 2 patches. No, there are 3 versions now. The first one, they just never stopped yelling at each other. The second one, they toned them down. Third one, they started yelling again, and you just kept taking random damage, or even if you were positive between 2, they'd be so positive that they didn't want you helping other people. Like, only help me. Like, it does get pretty frustrating, but I can't really wait to see what they are going to do further than it, because I have faith in them to make that just a crazy game.
I mean, I haven't played Darkest Dungeon 2. I only saw that they posted a message to their community online on Twitter, talking about the development and the state of the game and so on and so forth. I got some feedback from other creators about their experience with the game. It's just, I think a lot of people didn't expect the game to be so different, I think, than the first one. But I think that's good as a team, as a developer, to want to push the boundaries and like not necessarily repeat the same formula that was successful for the first one. But I don't know, maybe they had other plans, and they did, obviously. And so I think that is very tricky when you have such a big fan base. Like, you're not like Darkest Dungeon is a big game for a lot of creators and a lot of gamers. It was a very popular indie game, and so I think the fan base is, just like anything really, like they have a lot of expectations for the sequel. And so I'm not sure there's like it was a very difficult situation they were in. Like, if they would have done the same thing or similar, then release a more similar games than the game than the first one, maybe they would have been some people not happy about that, saying like it's the same thing as the previous one. It's like it's a very difficult position to be in, I'd say. And
I heard them say in an interview once that they actually wanted to make it so different because they actually liked the developer anxiety from whether or not they were doing it right or wrong. Especially in Darkest Dungeon 1, they added the new mechanic, corpses. So like every time you kill enemies, they would leave a body in their position still. And the community hated it. Personally, I was like, oh, hey, I can see the tactical options here. But apparently they really liked that feeling of potentially doing something that everybody hates, but ends up being fine. And there's something to be said for that.
Sure. All right, cool. So that it's still interesting that it's like, I guess, the game that made you on Twitch, let's maybe say it like that, and that it's still for this year number 5. I'm just gonna say it says a lot. But let's go to number 4. What is it?
True. I realized that I had not actually played that many games from this year. So I ended up just putting one down that I did actually have quite a bit of fun with, but it's probably not really considered by a lot of other people to be like one of the best games of the year. Back 4 Blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it is a fun with friends, just fun little wannabe Left 4 Dead.
Yep.
But there's like a lot of like weird stuff, and the one thing that irks me the most about is that they kind of like lack iconic sounds and music, but the gameplay itself is really solid, and you're just having a good time while playing it. So I can't say that I don't like it.
Did you play it on stream?
I did play a little on stream, but not a lot, because then I was bedridden for a month.
True. And did you play with fellow streamers or friends?
Yeah, I was playing some with Cat on Mars and Honk, and we were just going through. At the time, it was still the beta.
Yep.
We were just having a really good time, just running around and yelling at each other, like running in front of each other, and like, why?
Yeah. Left 4 Dead was a great experience. I remember playing Left 4 Dead 2 quite a bit, way back now. It's a winning formula. I mean, I think that, but to me, like, the problem with games like this is that you need to have friends, and I have no friends. I mean, no, that's not what I meant to say.
You need to have friends interested in playing.
Well, I'm joking, but it's true. You need to have exactly friends interested to like that in playing the game, available at the time you're available. Like, I'm 36 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, my friends don't play games, most of them. Second of all, at night we're wrecked. We spend time with our families and whatnot. Like it's very difficult when you cannot experience a game like solo, or at least when the experience is not really not made for you to play it solo.
Yeah.
You just kind of like just are dependent on other people basically to have fun playing a game, which to me kind of sucks a little bit, you know,
Yeah,
in
like
my
the-
situation.
The bots in Left 4 Dead 2 were still slightly competent, but in Back 4 Blood, people are actually abusing them because if you run out of ammo, a bot will literally just give you ammo even if they technically weren't supposed to have it because they are just helping the player. But then they basically don't even shoot at any zombie either. So it's like, oh, you can do everything yourself and you'll have the ammo forever, but...
It's not the same experience, you know?
No,
that's
definitely
the thing.
not.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna be down for like, let's say a solo, like a single player game that has like co-op, for example. Like that's really something that I might be interested in, and It Takes Two is a game that I can like. That's actually a game that you need to be playing with someone else, but it's just like co-op experiences can be fun. It's a terrible example because again, it's really It Takes Two. It's like a game you need to be two to play.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Literally, it's in the name.
A 2 is a lot less than 4.
Okay. Let's
He's
cut
not
this.
great with numbers.
Cut it. So no, but anyways, so I think that that's the only thing that for me, like that's why I didn't play Back 4 Blood. I asked around, and like, are you guys like interested? And it didn't happen. But I would be glad to play with you. No, but like it's a game like it would bring back memories from playing Left 4 Dead, and I had a lot of fun playing that back in the day. So good pick, I would say. Who cares what people say? If you enjoyed it, that's what matters.
Exactly.
It's your list.
It was just a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3.
Number 3, I have a game called Curse of the Dead Gods.
Of course.
So-
It's one of our clients' game. Non-sponsored.
Oh, yeah. No. Curse of the Dead Gods is actually, like, I had a hard time choosing to put this on 3 or 2 for myself because, like, it's an ARPG roguelike, but Hades plays at the speed of, like, a bullet hell, whereas Curse of the Dead Gods plays at the speed of a Dark Souls. And especially this year, there was no Dark Souls, like, something. And this game really scratched that itch for me. Just deliberate... proper dodging, like slow attacks, and just make sure you actually get your hits in. And then, well, you just get loot everywhere, and who doesn't like looting?
Yeah, no, that's a great game. Absolutely, that's a good pick. And you played that on stream.
Oh, yeah, lots.
Quite a bit, yeah. That's cool. Good pick. I like it. Now, I have your list in front of me, and I'm looking at number 2.
Yeah.
And I've played that game. Talk to me.
So, Humankind.
Yeah.
So, Humankind is just your it's basically a Civilization, like your 4X game, but then really like Civilization by the same devs of like Endless Space and Endless Legend, and I also really like those games.
Yeah.
And Civilization 6 didn't really sit well with me. And then I played Humankind and it was like, okay, it's not Civilization 5, but it's definitely not Civilization 6. Like, you miss a little bit of the personality between the other players, but the actual base game itself, like, there has a lot of fun systems in it. I really enjoyed just building my empires. Normally, when I play those types of games, like this, the start is very interesting because then you're like still worrying about whether or not you're even going to survive. And then by the time I get to the point where, oh, I've won, I usually just start a new game because I've already won, but I have to play for another like 100 turns. Like, oh. But in Humankind, I don't know. I enjoyed seeing the numbers go up more. I just actually finished like practically every game I started with it. It just really clicked with me.
Yeah, I'd say the pace is a bit different. I think.
Yeah, the beginning is a little slower, and like the end is practically non-existent. I've used like I've finished like 5 games or something, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but then you imagine every game taking like a good chunk of hours.
Yeah.
And I've used tanks like once because by the time you snowball to that position, you are so far ahead of the AI that does make it a little awkward.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like just how 4X games go.
That's a good pick, I'd say. For me, it didn't. I played it. I bought it. Meredith knows that I was really excited about the game before it actually launched. When I pre-ordered it on Steam and whatnot. But I think it's really well made. But I personally did not have the patience to learn the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of things.
It's because I'm a big Civ gamer. Like, I've played Civ since Civ 2, I think.
Oh.
And it's thousands and thousands of hours. It hurts to say, but it is true. And so I'm a big Civ guy. Even Civ 6, like I like Civ 6. I like the formula. I like the Civ formula. And so it fucked with my brain a bit, to be honest. Like, I was in Humankind, and I was like, am I playing Civ? Am I not playing Civ? Oh no, I'm not playing Civ. Now, I know I had these kind of like mechanisms that I built up over the years, and I had a hard time. Like, to be fair though, I haven't spent enough time with the game. I think it feels good. It looks amazing. It looks really good, I would say. Overall experience is amazing. It's really not. I wouldn't fault the game for how I feel about it. No. I would just fault the thousands of hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're so entrenched in your previous games that you're not entirely sure how to handle this one. But no, I was like personally like already really invested in their previous games, so for me it wasn't that big of a deal.
Leap, and so I don't stream anymore. So if I did, I would have spent more time with it for sure. I would have been interacting with chat and like learning the mechanics and whatnot, get used to it. I don't have enough time to game really. And I was we were talking last week with FG Squared about city builders, and it's the same thing. It's like I don't have 200 hours to learn the thing and anymore, like to build this like a city. Instead, I could play shorter games, or and that's typically the decision I'm going to make with my life right now. But
if you only have an hour or two to play, then it gets really hard to get into a game like this. I totally like that. Makes all of the sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a great pick. Number 2, it's like that's. I'm glad you're putting that up number 2 for a 4X game, which is not like the most popular genre out there. Yeah. Good execution from the guys behind Humankind. Great pick. Number 1, what is it?
Number 1 is a game that launched in early access that is currently the game it's all I stream, basically. It's called Storybook Brawl. Now, that sounds kind of lame. Like, who cares about storybooks? But no. So if you are aware of Hearthstone Battlegrounds, the auto chess game based on Hearthstone, these guys are basically like, wait, we can make that better. And they did. And it's just I just can't stop playing it. It's just better.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. And is there like, how is it better?
So
I'm not familiar with the game.
No. Exactly. Yeah. In normal auto chess games, you collect 3 of a character, and then they combine and they get stronger. And then, like with other auto chess games, you just try to get 9 of them in total. In Hearthstone Battlegrounds, if you combine 3 of them, you also get as a reward one of a tier higher creature, so you have a stronger creature. In this game, they did something interesting. Instead of giving you just slightly more power or an extra creature as a reward for actually getting that, they gave you an entire side artifact that you can build your entire board around, because they give you all sorts of special abilities, like the ability to be allowed to cast multiple spells per turn. And then there's also there's spells instead of only creatures. Yes, you're allowed to, like, there's all sorts of spells that do all sorts of things, like make this creature slightly stronger, shoot a random enemy for X amount of damage. There are so many different things you can really like just bite your teeth in, or whatever, however you want to say that. It's just really interesting and fun. And then at the same time, you have so much time between rounds because, well, it's an auto battler,
Yeah.
that you can also just have a really fun, chill chat with chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe the best way to learn about the game would be to watch your stream.
Exactly. No. But that's when it comes down to card games or the strategy games in general. Like, you can watch a shooter, and the only thing you can really learn from watching somebody else shoot things is specific, like, parts on the map where you maybe can throw a grenade or something. But when it's something is more strategical, you can really, like, see, like, now I get it.
Yeah, we had a similar discussion with Jorbs in our first ever episode on the podcast, actually, where it's like, you go at your own pace. He was saying how strategy games treat everybody the same. You can recreate what someone's teaching you in a way.
Exactly.
Where an FPS game, you better practice, to hit those headshots, over time. It's not something like you can be impressed, by someone doing it on stream. Don't get me wrong. Very impressive stuff, right? But to do it yourself, you need a lot of practice. Same with games like Rocket League, which have been having a lot of fun to playing recently, personally, but a lot of practice to get good. And so cool. But that's it. So number 1, Storybook Brawl. 2, Humankind. 2, Curse of the Dead Gods. 4, Back for Blood. 5, Darkest Dungeon 2. Now, I know you have an honorable mentions list. We'll do that in a second. I'll go through my list.
Yeah. Let's do that.
But it's a shorter list because, like I said, you know what? The game that I spent the most time playing, one of the games that I spent the most time playing this year is The Last of Us 2. All right? Don't hate on me. It took me so long. Like, I had started it on the PS4. And for XYZ reason, I really enjoyed the series. It's one of my favorite series ever. For XYZ reason, I never finished it on the PS4. And then when I got a PS5, I was like, what am I playing? Obviously, not a lot of games on the PS5 yet. So I was just like, I got to finish The Last of Us 2. So that's what I played a lot this year. I got back in. Actually, I started from the beginning because it had been so long, right? I wanted to start again from the beginning, but so that's one of the reasons why I only have 3 games on my list right now, and the first one in no particular order, right?
Okay.
No particular order, because they're all great.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
For me, Yakuza Like a Dragon.
That I was gonna put that on my list as well, and then I saw for PlayStation, it was on consoles this year, but last year it was for PC already, and that's when I played some of it.
Yeah, I picked Yakuza Like a Dragon because Yakuza series for me, absolutely in love with. I'm actually playing Lust Judgment right now. I didn't. By the way, the list could have been longer if I put games that I did not finish. I only put games that I finished. That was important to me. If I did not finish the game this year, I had a year to finish them. You know what I mean? Like, if I did not finish them, they didn't deserve a place on the list. All right?
And that's kind of fair. Like, if you weren't pushed enough that you needed to actually get through them, then
exactly.
Sure.
Right? That's how that's how my list is built. So, but yeah, like the Yakuza series, I know Lost Judgment is a bit different, but it's still from the same team. But any Yakuza game, just for me, is tremendous. I started playing the series with Yakuza 0, which is the game to play if you want to start with the Yakuza series, which I highly recommend. But also Yakuza Like a Dragon, for me, I was never a huge fan. For me, was the story, was the environment you were in the Yakuza series, like the humor, and it's just like the characters. Like, that's what really drawn me to this, to really love the series. The brawl and the brawling gameplay elements, never a huge fan of it. I think it's a bit busy, and you just mash people in the face with baseball bats and whatever. It's okay, but I really, really, really enjoyed the direction they went with Like a Dragon, with a more RPG element, where it's turn-based. You pick what attack your characters are doing and stuff like that. JRPG style, right? So that's for me was refreshing. I enjoyed it more than the typical Yakuza brawling fighting sequences that you get throughout the game, because it's also very repetitive in my opinion. But yeah, so so you've played it.
I didn't finish it. I watched a lot of it, but I just had other stuff going on at the time, so I was like, I am really interested in it, so I'm gonna watch a bunch. But it's just like, it's a proper JRPG, but like, then it's like, oh, but it's in modern day, and it's all this wacky Yakuza stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, it's kind of a parody, but at the same time, it's still Yakuza, so no, it's not a parody. It's still serious and like actually emotional and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a really good game.
Yeah.
I can totally agree.
Absolutely. And so you made me go back to the list where I found the games, and I just realized that the game actually, you're right, came out last year. But to my defense, I bought it on PS5.
Yeah,
it came
exactly.
Out this
that wasn't
year on
until...
PS5. Okay, in March 2nd came out on PS5.
Yeah,
that's why it's on my list. Okay,
like I made the same mistake as you. I was like, oh, I'll put this on, and wait a second.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever, it's on the list now.
Yeah. You had a good time with it this year. It's fair.
Here's another game I released this year for sure, 100%, I think. It's Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah.
For me, I've had the PS5 for a little bit now, and I think might be my favorite PS5 game. That's not true, but favorite original PS5 game.
Yeah, exclusive.
Right, and not PS4, because you'll see the next one is also on PS4. But for me, like, Rift Apart was such a blast from start to finish. This is my type of game. Not too long, right? Open world, third person, goofy, funny, lighthearted. You know, like, I don't care. Like, I love these dark, like Last of Us. Like, it's dark as shit, and it's really good. It's really deep. But like, sometimes I'm just not in the mood for that shit, you know?
Yeah, something goofy and fun is also fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I used, like, the last Ratchet and Clank I played all of them, all the Ratchet and Clanks that were on PlayStation 2, and I haven't played them since, but they were always a blast, and usually quite literally.
Yeah, I mean, the team behind it also, like, they have experience with the series, with making really, really fun video game experiences as well. And yeah, for me, it was great. It looked amazing as well on PS5. It looked amazing. Just a real blast. Like, I would say, if you have a PS5, like,
yeah, there's a no-brainer. You should buy it, even if you're not like you like your gritty games. No, just experience, just fun for once. It's fine.
It's really worth it. And again, I was glad I didn't have to spend like 50 hours to finish the game.
Oh yeah. Like, actually being able to finish a game, like especially back in the day, it was always like, you need to get X amount of hours per dollar, otherwise it's not worth it. Yeah. But having like the actual proper, like, I finished it. Oh, nice. Like, that's also a really good feeling, and you want to get that feeling pretty often as well. Actually.
No, and it's very polished as well. Like, you don't feel like you're. I didn't want my money back. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
I was really glad that I bought the game full price. Super great experience. Highly recommended. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And the third one on my list that I finished this year, that came out actually before, but wait. I didn't cheat for real this time. Ghost of Tsushima, but Director's Cut.
Yeah, it's technically this year
on the PS5. It came out just not so long ago. It's actually one game that I actually got. Actually, I have both versions. PS4 version still wrapped. And so, but when the PS5 version came out, I got it first day, and I started playing first day, because I was like, there's no way, like, I'm not playing this version now. And I knew I was gonna love it. I love typical, like, Japanese art, and it's such a beautiful game. And it's known for that, like how beautiful it is, and especially beautiful in PS5. But it's really good. I personally really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the gameplay quite a bit. I thought it was refreshing. It's not revolutionary by any means, but
I've heard people calling it like the amalgamation of all of the good trends of that generation.
Sure.
Just throw everything in the same game and then just have all of the best parts.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think that's a great way to categorize the game. And so for me, yeah, absolute blast. I platinumed the game. You know, I went beyond to platinum it. I even tweeted about it. I never fucking tweet. So it was a real blast. I again highly recommended. Ghost of Tsushima if you haven't played on PS4. And you want a great experience. The director's cut is amazing. It looks amazing, and I was always like super hyped to get back on my couch and play the game. Have you played it?
I have not played. I have not owned a console. Like the latest console I've owned was I think a 360. I've been PC gaming ever since, but I get a lot of my exclusives fixes from just watching Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, that's the thing with like story-driven games. I'm a big third-person story-driven gamer.
Yeah.
That's really like kind of like, as you can tell from my pick here, my picks and including The Last of Us too and stuff like that I talked about. But like as a content creator, I feel like it can spoil the fun a bit. I remember when I was streaming, and I was variety. I was playing a bunch of stuff, and if I would play something like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, I would get people saying like, I'm not gonna stick around because I want to play it and I don't want you to spoil the story.
Exactly that. Yes.
You know. So that's
I have that same problem.
I get it.
no, like every time there's a new Dark Souls, I just like chat. I have to play it. I'm sorry. And then they're all just, well, I don't want to get spoiled, so see ya in a month. All right.
Yeah.
See ya.
It's quite cruel, I would say.
Yeah.
Because, if I were to do content creation again on Twitch, that's what I would play. Only, probably.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can go for the older ones, but then you get the danger of people spoiling it.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind that too much, to be honest, because I need help. Like if I were to do content creation,
like spoiling with some help, like you gotta go this way or like you're missing that, but like major plot points, like
you mean like no, maybe not, but like like backseat gaming, I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind backseat gaming at all,
because I'm like,
especially with that Storybook Brawl that I play, like I make mistakes constantly, and chat lets me know, and like chat's so smart.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, I could not have finished a single game without them. But like, I play shit on easy. I don't give a fuck. I'm 36. I got nothing to prove. Okay, I'm playing on easy. If it's very easy, I might even go for that because
you don't have the time to play it on hard.
Exactly. I don't want to die 50 times during a playthrough. I want to enjoy the game. Like, I want to enjoy the story. I want to be sucked into it. I want to be like I don't want to feel like I want to like crush my controller because I keep dying for unfair reasons, whatever. Like to me it's like I it's easy or nothing. All right.
I personally do enjoy my difficulties. Like I beat Humankind on highest difficulty, and like when Sekiro came out, I was still playing it as a Dark Souls game, so I was dodging everything, but that game wants you to parry things. So when I got to a boss that you just can't dodge, I was stuck on it for 4 hours. So I can see why you wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like Civ, since there's no story, attached to it, it's not a big deal. Like I played on all difficult, like from the lowest to the highest difficulty on every Civ. Like it's different. Like having a challenge when you're like, it's like more like a game that you're gonna replay and learn mechanics and so on and so forth. Like I would not want to play on easy like a 4X or an RTS or something like that,
yeah.
just because it gets boring if you're not a little bit challenged. It gets boring. But since I'm talking about like third person story driven,
but those games, they're like you have something to strive towards. You really want that story instead of it's not just the gameplay. It's also what's going on.
Exactly, and even the gameplay. Yeah, even the gameplay is like there's new elements all the time, right? If it's a good game, it keeps you on your toes and like it brings you new elements, new guns, new this, new that. Like you always have new things to learn in a way, even though it's not the hardest difficulty. So it doesn't feel like bland or stale or whatever. Like it keeps you going.
I wouldn't call a Telltale's game like boring because the gameplay is click there and click here.
I love Telltale games.
Yeah,
absolutely. Honorable mention. Shall
Right.
we go there?
I got a few.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
My first honorable mention is a weird card game called Inscription. The people call it a horror card game because nothing about it is actually a card game. The game just makes you play it. Like, just play the card game and, okay. You've come far enough. Go ahead and walk around the room. Wait, I'm in a room? Okay. I guess we'll walk around a little here and find some stuff that I could apparently use. And, like, you don't actually want to say too many things about it, but it's like, okay. That's one way to blend genres, all right. It was a really weird game.
Interesting. What is it called again?
Inscription.
Okay.
Another honorable mention is, even though I don't own a console, back in the day, I loved Mario Party. I had all of them from like 1 to 9 or something.
Yep.
And then after that, they just died. The games just like I played over at a friend's house that was like, oh yeah, I'm nostalgic for Mario Party. I'm going to buy the new one. I'm going to invite my friends over and see what it's like. And it's like, that's a new Mario Party, all right.
Yeah.
That's just not good. But the new Mario Party Superstars is literally just okay. We admit it. We don't know how to make Mario Party anymore. We'll just grab the old Mario Parties and use that. And it's like, God,
sure.
Thank you, God. It's back. It exists again.
Yeah.
I just had to mention it.
I agree, and if I may, like, that's the first game that I've played with my kid. My kid is almost 4. I got him a tiny little a controller for the Switch, and we play. He really fucking sucks at it, obviously. But we're having fun and we're bonding. Like, it's a bonding moment with him and I, and it's really fun. And I totally agree with your opinion on the series. They kind of went the route of, like, I feel like Mario Kart in a way. You know how Mario Kart like reuses the old courses, like the old stages, whatever. And they might do they should do that for.
I'm pretty sure they are going to make DLC of more older things as well for this current one.
Yeah.
But what happened was that a different company started making them, and those were garbage. So now they just like thrown in the towel and just remade the old ones, and it's the best move they've made.
It works, and it for me, like, I'm having fun playing the game, and it's can I put it also in my honorable mentions?
Why not? Just do it. Like, it's honorable enough because it's back. It's been missing for so long,
and it's a great game to play with your kids and young kids, whatever. It's super family friendly, and so your grandma will enjoy playing it as well. It's a cool game for the holidays, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next game, Age of Empires 4. I like RDS. I suck at RDS. But I really like that they just made a very competent, real good RTS that people can finally play a proper RDS again, especially after Warcraft Reforged literally just destroyed the game. But for people to have a proper RDS to play again, I'm really happy for them, and I needed people. I wanted to give them credit.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's a genre. It's a dying genre, I would say.
Yes, exactly. And hopefully this can revitalize it a little.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
No, but
but it's cool that, because obviously, there's still a demand for it. It's just not as much as it used to. But
No.
I played Age of Empire 4 through Xbox Game Pass on PC, of course. But good game, good version, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Cool.
Another game that you'll probably will go on to hear for many years more to come, because it just really slow on its releases. But Deltarune Part 2 also came out this year, and well, as long as it's Undertale related, people are always crazy about it. So I was like, yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it. So I was like, you know what? People should know that did indeed happen this year.
That's true. That's true.
that works.
Undertale was made such a splash. Kind of died down a little bit afterwards, but that's a
Well,
cool
yeah,
pick.
it's still a single player indie game. It's not really the fact that it has the staying power that it does is already testament to how good it was, and that the new the game that follows it up and keeps people engaged with it, and people are hyped for it about it every time, and they all only have good things to say about it. Just stays testament of how good that guy is what he does.
Absolutely, good pick. I like your last one here.
I have two ones more. Actually,
two more.
because
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
My list is not up to date then.
No, because I changed my fifth best.
Okay.
No, I have Psychonauts 2
Yeah,
as my next one.
that's the one I had in front of me.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
No, it's Psychonauts 2 is I never played Psychonauts 1, but just the idea of 3D platformers still existing, like Ratchet and Clank as well. It's not really a 3D play. That's more of I would say a hack and slash, but it's not. You're never hacking and slashing. You're just playing an adventure game that has some platforming and mostly just really fun shooting. This is an actual proper. You need to do some real platforming.
Yeah.
And then there's also great comedy in it. There's just really wacky, strange stuff in it. And I kind of like that people like that if a dev really makes something weird, and then also in a genre that kind of has been forgotten, just like RTS.
I completely agree, and I want to raise my hat to Xbox as well for embracing their older IPs that have been forgotten a little bit. They're reviving a lot of them, and they're bringing them on Game Pass. They're working with developers to bring some of these games back, and they've been doing a really good job at also allowing people like me that have old Xbox 360 games to just put them in your Xbox Series X or Xbox One even. And play them again, even at a higher resolution, so on. So I was able to play Psychonauts, the original one, on my brand new Xbox, right? And then also enjoy Psychonauts 2. And there's just there's some amazing old IPs that it's being revived, and I hope there's more to come.
Yeah, exactly. Just solid games that were maybe not released at the most opportune times. I think Psychonauts 1 was only at Xbox and a little late in the cycle as well, so not a whole lot of people even got to experience it. So it's really great that more people do get to do that.
It's like
now.
a culture classic, but it's not like a popular title.
No, exactly. Yeah. But the people who know, they know.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The people who didn't, then you just missed it.
Yeah. Cool.
No. My final honorable mention is, it's Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
There's a new expansion. You don't understand the hype that anime can sometimes invoke.
I do.
Okay. But that is literally, especially, the problem with Final Fantasy is that literally the first 40 to 60 hours are all on the level of a tutorial. And that is really hard for a lot of people to get through. And I don't know how I did it.
No.
Because I all did it this year or maybe
Probably
a little
had fun.
last year as well, but I just had a good time with some
Yeah.
friends and just played it slow. But yeah, now there's a new expansion, and we just finished the like later at the end of this year. We also finished the previous story, and it's just I did not expect a game to be able to invoke that much hype in me as I was beating the bosses at the end.
Yep.
It is kind of unbelievable, but I couldn't really get there like on my top 5 because again, like you, I haven't actually finished it yet.
Well, I mean, can you even really finish it as well? But,
That's also fair, but there is a 100% of current, and then there's a new patch. Well, I guess I'll go do that stuff.
yeah, no, of course, but it's been getting a lot of praise, since the whole like debacle, or I don't know, a lot of creators leaving WoW and moving into Final Fantasy and other MMOs and Elder Scroll or even New World. So yeah,
but Final Fantasy is like a really strange. Like I've heard people not even call it an MMO, but more an MO, like just a multiplayer online RPG instead of a massive one. Because essentially, outside of the dungeons, it's actually hard to play with other players. Like if you are doing a quest, you can't both do the same quest like objective at the same time. It's really strange and weird.
Is that a design flaw, or is that like what they intended to do?
I'm pretty sure it's a design flaw because the game is literally built on the corpse of their previous game that they reused and zombified into something that now is actually fun.
Yeah.
Because that was also a really weird story. And
that would make sense because it doesn't make. I mean, it like not being able to just quest with your friends.
Like
really
you can both accept the
work.
same quest and then go here and fight these people
and then do it on your own, and we'll meet up afterwards. Kind of thing.
Yeah. But like you literally go to a spot. Okay, some enemies are gonna spawn here. Both players have their own sets of enemies spawn for them, and then you can we can fight double the enemies. But like, wait, why can't I just kill his and it counts for me? It's the same enemy.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Well, these are some good picks, Matt, and I do have 4 on my list.
Oh,
I'm gonna start with one I just mentioned. Actually, is New World.
yeah.
And for me, like I used to be a big MMO guy. I played World of Warcraft like crazy. I'm a vanilla guy. I got a character for every class, every race, every like I loved WoW. I still kind of do. It's just I don't not really into MMOs anymore, and I don't have the time. But I did play the beta for New World, and I did play the launch as well at launch for New World. I didn't have the time to go as deep as I like wanted to, which is why it didn't make the list of like top games of the year for me. But I have to say I really enjoyed chopping wood in the game. But for real, in the sense that it makes you. For me, I really enjoyed just like farming stuff, farming mats, running around, just killing mobs. Like it was a good experience for me. Like I'm very picky when it comes to MMOs, and just had a good time. Just didn't really have time to invest more into it. But hopefully, I know the game is in a weird state right now. How the community feels about it, it's fine. I didn't go as far as most people, so I can't really comment on it. But let's just say, hopefully they continue to build on what they've already done.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's a very good the numbers go up game. And if you're like numbers go up games are great. Cookie Clicker is a game that gets sold.
Yep.
And
Yep.
but for me it's not quite there. But I can definitely like there are some streamers that I follow that are like they always play that kind of game and they got really sucked in. So
Yep.
I will believe anybody that says that they got into it because it did really seem like that.
Of course. I can confirm happened to me. Next one, Jurassic World Evolution 2. So for me, like really, really fun. I got back into dinosaurs because of my kid. Right? I was like a dinosaur kid when I was like 5, 6, 7, whatever. Then I kind of didn't care so much, obviously, about dinosaurs, like most adults, I guess. Or, And then having my kid for like a couple of years now, he got me back into dinosaurs and with his friends, daycare, whatever. So I started kind of reading books about dinosaurs because obviously I was reading those books to him, right? Teaching him the names of the dinosaurs, but at the same time I was remembering some of the dinosaurs. And obviously we know more about dinosaurs now that we used to when I was his age, obviously, right? So it just got me back. I really got interested into dinosaurs, and I played the first one. I played Jurassic World Evolution 1. I really enjoyed it, and I now been playing Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I really enjoyed it as well. And then, but you can breed dinosaurs, and you can you need to manage how, like, which dinosaurs are can be enclosed together and whatnot, and it's very interesting and kind of educational in a way if you're interested into dinosaurs outside. So for me, it was real fun to kind of, I don't know, take that dinosaur passion from my kid, take some of that, and then go play some Jurassic World Evolution 2. Great game in my opinion. Great pick. And so another one, kind of an odd one, but it's more like the retro, like nostalgic kid in me that's talking here. Castlevania Advance Collection. All right? Yeah. So listen, Castlevania. Castlevania, great franchise for me. I think that I've had tremendous fun. The Castlevania games that I played the most on personally is actually the DS games. All right.
Okay.
But then there's also the Game Boy Advance games that are really, really, really amazing. So you obviously more advanced than your typical or your NES, SNES games, but I think they're like underrated, to be honest, or at least underappreciated maybe, because they're
they're handheld games, so people are like, oh, they're lesser.
Yeah, and like maybe some people most people don't play it like Game Boy Advance anymore, so like it's a way to revive these games, which they are tremendous games. They're based depending on which list you go and read, some of the best Castlevania games were made for the Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. So I just think it's great that they're bringing these games back, allowing people. I think it's available pretty much everywhere and every console, whatever. It's a great way to get people to play these, in my opinion, these gems. So yeah, kudos.
I remember a DS game called Advance Wars, and they're bringing that to the Switch now as well, with like updated graphics and everything. So they're really like, they are kind of tapping back in, like, what kind of good games did we have on the handhelds that we actually haven't touched yet? And that's actually also great, because they were great games.
Tremendous games on handheld. Obviously. Many different types of games as well. Maybe some that you don't necessarily need to, port back into a Nintendo Switch or something, but a lot of gems for sure, indeed. And some gamers today weren't around when the Game Boy Advance was released. So, there
are people out there that are already 20 and weren't even alive before the millennium. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, don't remind me. And the last one on my list, last one for this year, I've only played a little bit. I haven't had time, but I guarantee you, for the next couple of weeks, that's what I'll be playing. Metroid Dread. I
was expecting you to say something about it after you said the Castlevanias.
Yeah, so here it is. Obviously not on my top list. If I had played more of the game or finished the game this year, I'm pretty sure it would have been on my top list for the year. I just haven't played enough of it. But Metroid Dread, kudos to Nintendo for doing a more of a classic take on Metroid. Of course, people waiting for Metroid Prime, and obviously, but it's just a great execution, great game. And I was lucky enough as well to get like the limited edition somehow. I don't even know how the fuck I got it, to be honest. I think I went on Amazon one night, way after it actually was up for sale or pre-sale, right? And I think someone may have canceled their copy. I don't know, And I went on Amazon, I saw it, bought it, went back like 15 minutes later, 10 minutes later, maybe 5 minutes later, was sold out. I was really, really lucky to get like a limited edition of this game. I mean, I'm excited to play it. It's going to be in my Switch for the next couple of weeks. Now, there's also Pokemon I haven't played yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, but Pokemon Pearl, and there's Diamond and Pearl, and there's also the one in the past, right?
Arceus.
Arceus. Arceus.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it as well, and we'll see. But I got to really focus on Metroid because I'll hate myself if I don't finish this game in the next couple of weeks. Matt, time's up already. It's been it went by super fast.
It's definitely.
Yeah, it was super fun to share our top games of the year together. I mean, I hope we can get you back on the podcast, talk more about your stream, your audience, what you do on Twitch every week. And I mean, thanks again. Can you tell our listeners how they can find you online?
Oh yeah, sure. You can always watch me stream from around 2 p.m. CET to around 7 p.m. CET. That's around 8 a.m. for any Eastern Americans out there, and other people can figure that out on twitch.tv/Matt Oblivium, and it's also on Twitter, just at Matt Oblivium. It's just those are the places you can find me, really.
Awesome. We'll check you out for sure. And I want to wish you and Meredith and all our listeners and our viewers a happy new year. I think hopefully 2022 great.
Yes, of course. Obvious. 100% going to be just fine.
All we need is just fine, honestly. Like, we'll take it.
It's just fine would be great.
Yeah.
But, let's not keep our hopes too high.
Yeah. No.
Nice talking to you guys. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.